What's up, everyone? Welcome to Real Talk with Casey and JoJo. What's up, Casey?
What's up, JoJo?
How you feeling?
Like, I can't believe how who I was at some point. I just looking back on who I was, how I lived my life. I can't. It just doesn't.
It
Really
doesn't compute.
Seems like a different lifetime.
A different lifetime. We're going to talk. We've been talking about our relationship. So we've been looking at our timeline based on my diary that has everything stored that apparently you have forgotten and that I have forgotten. Like a lot of little details that we have kind of just brushed under the rug, or just maybe it just went away. So we started off with the itch and Aries. These are aspects of your relationship, or aspects of each sign within the zodiac in your relationship. So we're giving examples from our relationship. And we started with the itch, and then like the puppy love, the magicalness of our relationship. Then we went into the toxic habits and stubborn and toxic habits and all of that. We went into, on number 3, the two sides of the coin. Number 4 was emotional strength. And here we are, number 5, Leo.
Show me your shirt. I'm like, you kidding me right now? That's so Leo.
It's
right
a
there.
feline.
That's so Leo.
Right.
So Leo,
yeah, I know. I was like, you're so excited, Leo in the house. So in this episode, we are going to talk about loyalty and really just aspects within ourselves that require or seek attention from others, and where that stems from. And then also, our big heart, our big heart wants to love, wants to get really involved.
You mean like ours collectively or ours? Leos. Okay, got you.
We're still talking about Leos.
My bad. Of course we
yeah,
are.
we are.
Sorry,
so no, that's what this whole episode is. So of course. So we are looking at how the Leo's heart, which yes, is an aspect of everybody, but as a Leo,
yours is better than everyone else's.
No, I'm not saying
bigger,
it's better,
loves
but
harder.
It's bigger. It
loves better,
loves more, loves deeper,
loves
passionately. Yes, we can get into that. But basically, why do you think we call it the lion's heart? Why does Leo rule the heart organ? So what we're looking at is how deeply we get involved in things. Even like, for example, my soap opera that I watch, I get so involved. We're going to talk about that. I'm sure you have examples, but how much we get involved and passionately want to just live our life to the fullest, regardless of what that comes with. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Do you want to begin?
No, I can't. No,
you're still processing.
Lead me down the path. Yes.
All right. So in our relationship, that's where it always starts. Going back to when I was pregnant, right around 8 months or so, about to give birth with our first child, we had already gone through a miscarriage. We had already gone through tons of fights of not realizing whether we were going to be together or not. And then here we are, and you had cheated on me in the past, and there was this envelope or this huge package that came in the mail. I wobbled my ass over there to get it and see that it's coming from, this place. And I'm like, it has to be her. So I open it, and of course it was. And I had to sit for about a couple hours and really process how I was about to not really have a baby right then and there, because my pressure was just like out of this world, but also how I was going to relay this information to him without verbally vomiting, and really just trying to get to the point of what I was thinking.
Is that like a Leo thing when you open up packages that aren't yours? Is that what Leos do? Comment, please, if you're a Leo and Leos do that, or if that's just a woman thing.
No. That's why at that point, I had been very heavily on my spy. I was going through my spy stuff. What is it? My private detective school. I was wobbling behind people, and that's why I had to stop, because I was like, I can't be following people while I'm pregnant.
Hold on,
So
pause. So random Saturday afternoon, we are in the mall, and I think this happened numerous times actually,
yeah,
but she would go them, and I'm like, what do you mean them? We're following them. I said, oh, okay, great. So we essentially would follow this person all the way until their next stop. And this one particular occasion was like, I don't know, 40 minutes following this person. It was amazing.
all the way home, right?
All the way home, but she's scary good, man. Scary good.
Yeah, and so I became really good, and
Very good.
I became very curious about this profession,
She taught me everything I know about being
only
sneaky.
only because I was very curious about who he was talking to and how I was going to get every information about her. And so I started my digging, and then I'm like, wait a second, I could do this for a living. And long story short, wanting to be a mother, I was like, how will I be a private detective who has to, go out in the middle of the night if need be, and then leave my kid? That's not going to work. So I quit. But being the detective that I was, I saw where the package came from and it was addressed to you. Therefore, two
Hmm.
plus two is four, and I knew it was her.
Hence why you opened
So,
it.
yes, so I have all the right to open it at that point. Anyway, so, you know, this was hard to process. I was in the middle of trying to figure out, like, are we going to be together? This whole back and forthness. Why, let's move again, let's try over, let's work this out. But things like this kept happening. And there was a lot of things that we suppressed. There was a lot of stuff that
Hmm.
went on between that and then having our second child. And then it led me to the point where now he's at work a lot. We had moved again, and I never saw him. He didn't care to show me any attention or affection.
Okay, so let's pause for a second,
Okay,
because I think
good
this is
talk.
I think this is important to talk about from a benefiting factor. So when in relationships, I think, and particularly in ours, it was amazing because we always like, how the fuck can you go through all this and still be cool? Like I wouldn't want to speak to someone that did those things and then this. But for us, like we always loved each other, right? Like there was an undeniable thirst to have that other person around, and when they were around, the thirst wasn't there. When they weren't around, it was like, yo, come back, like come back,
It's like, oh my God, I have
right?
to have him.
And yeah, and that, I mean, yeah, and that is what kept us together, or kept us coming back, right?
Yeah.
But I say all that to say this, that because we had that thirst, like there was always the love was always there. We were just too stupid and too fucked up ourselves to be
Yeah.
able to love each other because we didn't love ourselves,
Right.
right? And we somehow depended on each other to love each other, when you're going to fail epically every time if you try to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my point is that I had made my mind up that I wasn't talking to this girl anymore. Like, this shit didn't matter to me. Where I'm having a baby, like I want to be with her. I want to have a family. I don't know that I voiced that to her, but that's how I felt, right?
Mm.
And so when she gets this package, I told her, I'm like, yo, throw that shit away. I don't care. Like, I don't want to see it because I'm done. But I had never voiced that to her. She didn't know how I was feeling because I don't know why I didn't communicate. I didn't feel safe. I don't know. But you feel me? Like, I'm over here like doing the things that I need to do to get myself in position to create with her, and she receives this package and thinks that I'm probably been doing this shit for months and lying to her about it, which was the farthest from the truth. But whose fucking fault is that? It's mine, right? Because I didn't talk to her about how I was feeling. And I think in a lot of relationships, man, like we want to love the other person. We just can't get out of our own way, right?
Right. And then this is basically this whole entire episode is, and Leo and everything and the aspects of it is the passion that's behind really wanting to know who we are, what's going on. And at that point in time, I didn't know. We were very confused. A lot had happened. There was so much damage. There was so much pain. There was so much hurt. There were so many wounds that still needed like to be looked at.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like
That it caused all these things to keep happening until we hit that point, which I'm gonna get to. But go ahead.
right. No, I think it's like right now in our, sort of professional lives, we're in that kind of same spot to some degree that we were in back then, right? Like
With what?
when you start a new business, when you start a venture, when you try to take a dream and create that dream, like you don't know what the fuck you're doing, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't know how to process information. Like I don't know what the next step is. I just know that I have this dream.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you get mad at the dream and you're like,
You want to
fuck
give
this.
up?
Yeah, I want to give up. I'm sick of this shit. Like the dream is stupid. I'm going to find another dream. But the dream is the dream, right?
You just got to keep going.
Right. And I forgot my point. This happens every damn episode.
It's fine. You'll remember. Let me go because
Yeah.
I'm going to forget. So ping pong. So here I am, and I'm at a point where I'm looking for this attention and this affection that I'm not getting at home because he's deciding to not show it, right? And you were just not showing it anymore. Yeah. So here I was talking to somebody who was a friend, and it became this thing of I'm being mentally stimulated daily now. It's like chats that I'm getting attention pretty much, and looking back at my diaries and looking back at how I was feeling, it was more about the lack that I had growing up as being raised by a single mom of, the fatherly figure. And it took going through all of that and the whole chase and the whole, what is this feeling that I'm having with this other guy? Is it the attraction? Is it the chase? Is it the game? Is it because, what is it? And it wasn't until I ended up basically, pretty much going, you know what, I'm tired of this. This has like accumulated. Now I don't even know if it's my feelings or if it's something else. I need to just see how it is that I feel. And I ended up just doing what I did. And I turned around and I told you about it, right? Like the following day or whatever.
Yeah, well, I want to stop for a second because I want to give you props because it's a Leo thing, right? Like Leos are loyal. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is I think a perfect example of like how big a Leo's heart is. Like this was her first, transgression, if you will, for the most part.
For the most part.
In our relationship, right? So this was, how old were you at this point?
24, maybe
24. So we're 8 years deep,
something like that.
8 years. And so my point is that like I'm reading back through the things that she allows me to read out of her diary because I don't get access, which is bullshit. It's complete bullshit.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, see that? It's just
it's my diary.
That's fine. I get it. But
see
the things, the things that you said in your diary, and I'm reading them, and I'm like, yo, like that was me. I did that. I was like that, and you put up with that. So, her. While you did cheat, yes. Like let's qualify it and talk about, let's really talk about the fact that you were loyal as fuck. Like I'm sorry, man. Just be blunt with the way you look and the sexiness that you exude. Like it's a fucking miracle. Like it's amazing. It's a testament to your Leo-ness that it took 8 years, honestly, with how I was being. And again,
that I put up with all the stuff that led up to that.
Right. Like,
but, right. Like I put up with it and I was patient, but at the same time, that whole revenge.
A lion's got to be a lion sometimes. I mean, it's a lion's going to roar.
It built up. It built up. Yeah.
Right. And so, I mean, again, not to be funny, but respect, because while that is shitty, it still shows the level of Leo loyalty that you had. Right?
Well, not only that, but I wanted to be completely honest with you. And it was like, no bullshitting. I wasn't going to beat around the bush.
Let me tell you how dysfunctional we are. She told me this and we proceeded to have like the most amazing sexual experience ever. And I'm like, afterwards, I'm thinking to myself,
that's when we got in the tub and we said we were dysfunctional as fuck.
Yeah.
That was the day.
I can't. Anyway.
I can't. No. So this is when I think, his pain started coming up, and I quickly remembered the pain that I went through while I was dealing with what he was doing earlier on in our relationship. And that's when it was like, okay, I think I'm at a level of understanding, but I don't understand myself at all. What the hell am I doing? I have this amazing guy who does like anything for me, who, yes, he's working a lot, but it's supporting our family financially, puts food on the table basically. And I'm just doing
I
this.
appreciate you saying that because that wasn't all bad.
No. No, there was obviously like the good also, but it was the accumulation, like what we had built, like who you had become. You were like my best friend, but in a way you weren't talking to me. It's like we were at frenemies, but but you were there, right? And
Yeah.
we were building a little family and whatnot, right? So then I was like, what the hell am I doing now? We're just apart. I'm having to go home to an empty house. We're having to share with the kids, going back and forth, totally been there, done that. They were little. And
So little.
and it was like, how do we make this work for the family? But then do we want to do it just for the family, or do we want to do it for us? And then
It's
it became,
complicated.
like, I don't want to just stick with it because I grew up as with a single family home, and I wanted a whole family together type feeling with a brother. I wanted to see what that was like. And
You
now
know,
here we have a whole family, and my daughter can have an older brother like I wanted. And do I hold on for that?
life hack.
Or do I hold on because I love this man?
Life hack.
I was like,
And no, that was an amazing list of things that you rattled off. But it's funny because not one of them was go with that, right?
right.
Not one of them
Yeah.
was check yourself,
Right.
meaning myself, right?
Right.
Not one of them was that. It was the dreams, it was the goals, the aspirations, the this, the that, the this, the that, the this, the that, which is basically, why all couples go through shit is because they get stuck in their ego, right?
Right.
And your ego is very sneaky and very like cunning, like Leos are. And it can, it can basically twist anything in your mind to make it seem as if that's the only reality that can happen, right?
Yeah.
And like we were talking about this before we got on, and it's like if your spouse has cheated on you and you've cheated on them, I mean, for us it was a long time ago, but even if it was 2 or 3 years ago, like you're mad about something, that person's not even that person anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's like that's just a further signal that you have to work on your own shit.
Right.
Like
And
only
and
you can
that's
fix
when
you.
I started to figure out, okay, I have a problem, right? Like, why am I doing this? I obviously have a problem. What is wrong with me? And then I was like, how am I going to answer questions about myself? And I don't even know what the questions are.
Yeah.
So I decided I need to do some soul searching. I need time for me. I need to stop worrying about if I'm going to be with him or not, and just really figure out
You got to do
me.
your research on yourself.
Exactly. And that's when it got even worse, because I had to try to figure out, like, I'm going to get in some shit. I want to see if I'm going to like this shit, and if I'm that person, or if I'm not that person. But I have to try it. I had to figure out what was what.
I was about to get that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, who am I? Am I loyal? Am I a loyal person? Am I truly loyal deep down? Or am I just like someone who just wants attention? I'm just going to keep going wherever I can get it. Am I really that person? Because I didn't think I was. I mean, in the beginning, when this whole thing started, it was just, hey, I want to hold out till I got married. I want to be this one person with this one person forever. And I want to be, grow old and gray until we die both in bed. Like, that was, I think I wrote that like twice and within a few pages. Like, I would say that all the time because you were gone. But that's really what it boils down to. And I wasn't having that. And I need to understand why. Why was I repeating the same stubborn, toxic habits over and over? Why was I even this way? What
Yeah.
conditions did I still have, and was I repeating? And this was back when I went down to Miami to go talk to my dad.
Yeah.
And I really got a chance to like get to know him and kind of figure out that a lot of my conditioning was coming from the lack of
Yeah.
having that relationship,
Yeah, I remember that.
and it's funny, we were separated and then I came back and I was stopped at Charlotte, which is 2 hours, 2.5 hours away from here. Um,
Ish.
and I told him that it had a 2 hour delay. And come to find out, I'm on the phone and he's like, go look at the thing and see how many hour delays and, what gate and what's going on. And then he tells me, make a right or make a left or something. And there he was. He had driven all the way to Charlotte to pick me up so that we can drive back together. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, we're not together, but he does these amazing things that are so romantic and that like make me go, what the fuck am I doing? you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And so I think another important thing to realize in this situation is like, as couples, we co-create. We don't create on our own, right? Like we co-create. So she's created this life, these choices, whatever. Like she's wanted to test this life, right? She's co-creating with me, who is not able to forgive, completely shut down, heart is closed, right? Like just a shell, like a fucking
I
shell,
wrote that
and no emotions, right? That was me. That's
in
how
my
I was. I was
diary.
just done. Like I was like, I just want to like I'm done, right? And so in the co-creation, she did the things that she did, which in turn, when she told me, because we all know the truth must come, like she knew she was gonna have to tell me at some point, and when she did, my shell cracked. But the co-creation part is that, would I have opened up? Would I have cracked? Would I have basically allowed myself self to heal with this pain, go through this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that I can then walk into the better version of me. So I co-created with you that awful experience, because unfortunately that's the only thing that would open me up, right?
Yeah.
And so the point is that in co-creating with your partner, like understand your role and responsibility in the decisions and the actions of the other person, right? I mean, most situations, most couples,
Yeah.
like, we're not out, we don't want to hurt each other. Like our intention is not to not make you happy. It's just we have issues. You know what I mean? Like we have to heal. So we just make poor choices. And again, take that with a grain of salt, but help me out. Like you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like we co-create, and you have to take your responsibility in that. And when you start taking responsibility for the reason why your situation is what it is, then you can start to heal, then you can start to
Yeah,
progress, and you can start to have real
because you
conversations.
take responsibility for the fact that a lot of it was your own thing that you have to look at.
Right.
Um, no, I was just trying to find the part in here that actually said, after I did what I did, now he, like, basically I have lessons that I need to learn, but I was like, now he needs to learn to forgive. He needs to learn to let go. He needs all the stuff that I said that you needed.
Right.
And that's exactly what you just said. And so I thought that was cool. Um, but yes, we have to be responsible for where we are in our lives. The choices that we have made have gotten us to where we are. So if you look around at your reality, whether you're single, shout out, or whether you are, I'll tell you later, whether you are, that's not what I meant.
I know. That's why I'm like, what does that mean?
For our viewers.
Yeah, no, I get it. I know, I get it.
Okay. And that some are
But I
single.
don't. But I get it. Sorry.
Anyway, so regardless of whether you're single or with somebody else, it's about understanding like your life, the reality that you're in. Why is it that way? Is it because there's still something that you need to work on? Is it, a lot of times, when we're by ourselves, it's that time where we do need to work on ourselves. That's the soul searching time, before the relationship, like, it manifests into a relationship, right? It's because we need that time for healing from past stuff, or just to really get to know ourselves before we can, find somebody. Or sometimes it's not even about finding the other person. It's about being happy with who you are. And I remember peeling the layers and looking at everything on the outside of me. And then after I realized where it came from, what I didn't like, why I liked it, trying to be grateful about it, I flipped it into, okay, now what's going on inside? And I think that's a process that we all
Yeah, and
need to look at.
it's an opportunity. I mean, it's not, and some of the other calls we've been on, it came up about dirt, right? Like how does a seed grow? Like a seed can stay in its shell and it can be all comfy and be a badass and be mad and be angry, and listen to its ego all day. Or you throw some dirt on it, right? Some trauma,
Hmm.
some really, you got to make a decision type shit that then cracks that seed open. Then it's on you to make the decision. Do I want to rise and grow and reach the light, the sun, if you will? And that's essentially where I was at, where we were at.
Right.
She had cracked before that, and then she cracked me, and I cracked her. It just took a really long time, but she cracked me very quickly. And
And this is ongoing. Like we're only on chapter episode. What are we on? Episode 5, right?
yeah,
And there's still we still have Virgo. We still are going
so
around
much
the entire zodiac, and there's
Virgo.
still so much. That's you. Still so much left to talk about how we overcame all of that and just getting to the point where we are now. I mean, the whole cycle, right? But it's important to also look at the dark times, because I was telling him, like, it's real. Like, this is a real life story. I'm not making it up. Like, we did overcome this. We did go through this. And there's a lot of people out there that might need to hear, hey, it's okay if you do something and you feel like life is over, but like there's deep down a message and a lesson that comes with that really helps us and propels us to grow. And I think that's what we need to look at.
Yeah, and I think that too, if you just right? Like as confused as we were at times, um, that, like I said, that we call it a thirst, which is a really just piss poor way to describe it. But like that feeling that you have, and if it's real. If you have that, like, like it's worth fighting for. It really is. I mean, there's so many like joys on the other side of the dirt, of the pain. It seems impossible when you're
Yeah.
going through it, and it seems like you're never going to get out of it, and you can never forgive. um but this is a good segue into, we got some merch, right? Quantum entanglement,
Mm-hmm.
root chakra, red. Anyone into it, just comment on the video or whatever, and we'll reach out to you. But another thing, it leads it into the next thing, is kind of what QE does, because we don't ever talk about this. And
Yeah.
I think this is a beautiful segue, but not for self-interest, but for
Yeah. Yeah.
true healing, because we care, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quantum entanglement, we have an academy at Circle. What is it?
QE-academy.circle.so. I will put it down on the link.
And we have an academy, or a community, if you will, where we essentially talk about, it's all about healing, right? And that's healing from a chakra standpoint. It's healing from all the things that we've been talking about on our podcast. But it's a beautiful community where you can go and join and sort of work on all the things that we're working on. She has her program, which is like 7 modules, 7 chakras, and it takes you through the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because if you're at a point in your life and your relationship, I feel like I'm on a telethon, doing a telethon call. But I mean, if you're in a point like we never, 16, 18 years old, man, no idea who the fuck we were. We was emotionally just, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say the R
I
word, but
know,
I
I
can't,
know.
I can't want to say
No.
that word. Like, just emotionally broken to
Yeah.
the nth degree, like Humpty Dumpty type shit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, our parents didn't teach this shit. Nobody taught us how to be, right? Nobody taught us the emotional intelligence it takes to get through life. Well, this community, that's what we do. That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to give back, right? Is not having to go through the bullshit that we went through because you just did not know what to do, right?
Right. And a lot of times people need that support and accountability,
And then just a roadmap.
and yeah, where do I go from
And you
here?
still got to do the
Or
work.
exactly. But
It's a roadmap.
it's a map of self-discovery. It's a map of mastering yourself. But now we have come full circle, and everything that we have learned and everything that we have taken from our experiences are doing amazing things now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Isn't it crazy how
It's
like
cool.
that takes us all the way? So coming back full circle and to end it, Leos are very passionate. So think about fuels you? What makes you passionate, that makes you go in that direction and want and do more of that? And if that in your relationship with yourself or with somebody else translates into doing things um, that fuel you to share that love, then do that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, be authentic too, and
fill
that
your own cup so
yeah,
you can love better.
be authentic in that, because I think that in a relationship, when you approach someone and you say, "Look, I need to do this for me because this is my journey. This is, I mean, I'm sorry, I love you, but I have to do X, Y, Z." That's a conversation that has to be had, right? Like, one of the biggest mistakes we made of our relationship is just fucking lies. Like, not even lies because we were trying to be sneaky, lies because I just didn't want to hear the bullshit. She
Yeah.
just didn't want to hear the bullshit
Yeah.
because we were so emotionally broken, right?
Right.
So it's
We
like,
couldn't handle it.
yeah, it's like, have the cojones, if you will, to like step into that and be honest with your partner about what it is that you need. Because in your journey, hard conversations are going to have to be had,
Yeah. And usually the other
but
person
it's
gets
worth it.
upset, and it's because they don't want to deal, they don't want to see it because they know that they're not giving that, they're not providing that, they're not doing that. Like every time I would say that you wouldn't give me attention, it pissed you off even more, and you gave me less attention, but it was
Right.
something you had to process and deal with, and we had to figure out what was the root of that. So
Here again.
that hair again, Leo's in their hair.
Leos make everything look good, man. Leos just make things look good.
Oh, so next week we're going to talk about Virgo aspects. Whoop, whoop. But thank you so much for joining us this time around, and I hope you got something out of it. And we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Peace.
Peace.